The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm your host, Hongbin Jeong. As AI becomes more mainstream, many businesses still struggle to put it into practice. While large enterprises have the resources to hire data science teams, most companies are left wondering how to actually use AI to drive better decisions. Our next guest founded the platform Pecan AI with just a simple question. What if you didn't need to be a data scientist to benefit from AI? Today, the platform helps companies predict outcomes like customer churn, demand fluctuations, and campaign performance, all without writing a single line of code. Global brands like Johnson & Johnson's Kenvue are already using it to streamline forecasting and make smarter, faster decisions. So how is Pecan AI helping businesses bridge the AI gap? And why is the right time for Southeast Asia to go predictive? Well, joining us today to share more is Dr. Zohar Bronfman, who is the CEO and co-founder of Pecan AI. Hi, Dr. Bronfman. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, Dr. Bronfman, let's start with your story. What led you to create Pecan AI? Was there a particular challenge that sparked this idea?
So my co-founder, Dr. Noam Brezis, and I, we did a PhD in AI and computational neuroscience. And when we came across this powerful capability, the capability of actually looking at historical data and saying something about the future behavior of individuals, we immediately felt this is going to change how businesses are going to act. We asked ourselves a very naive question. Why aren't all businesses across the globe are just harnessing their data and predicting the future every moment of the day? Mm-hmm. And we realized after some research that it's actually far harder and far more nuanced than we thought. So we decided that we want to help all organizations go ahead and do that simply and seamlessly as possible.
I see. Well, then can you walk us through what a business might actually do with Pecan AI? Say I'm a retail or in logistics. What kinds of predictions can your platform deliver?
So, conceptually, if you think about it, AI and machine learning can help you predict anything that you already have in your data, but about the future. So if you think about, for example, customer experience, which of my customers is going to be satisfied and which of my customers is going to be dissatisfied, or how much money a certain customer is going to spend, or which products that customer is likely to acquire, or maybe if a customer is going to cancel their subscription or stop buying altogether. But not only customer behavior at the individual level, you can also predict anything about your company. You can predict your revenue, you can predict your stocks and inventory, you can predict your financials, you can predict many different things that come from your historical data.
Oh, wow. That's a wide range of what Pecan AI can do. I mean, you're already working with global companies like Johnson & Johnson's Kenvue. How are enterprise clients using your platform to, streamline operations or improve forecasting, Dr. Bronfman?
So interestingly, enterprises and smaller businesses have similar use cases and similar opportunities when it comes to harnessing AI. It's only obviously a matter of scale. So be that Johnson & Johnson's Kenvue or other smaller organizations that work with Pecan, all of them can do pretty much similar things. For example, if you think about operational use cases, which are very important when it comes to AI, you can always optimize things like how much stock should I hold and distribute to different areas, logistics centers of my manufacturers and my warehouses. By optimizing this allocation, you can save so much efficiency, money, and also make sure you have the best customer experience because no one's coming to the store realizing they don't have the product they were looking for.
Well, then with governments like Singapore investing heavily in AI infrastructure, how do you see platforms like Pecan AI turning that investment into real-world value for businesses?
Yes, so first of all, I would like to say that the fact that the Singaporean government is investing so heavily in AI infrastructure is amazing. It's absolutely the right approach, in my opinion. The thing is that investing in infrastructure is a necessary but not sufficient condition for realizing value out of AI. Now that you have the infrastructure in place, you want to find the specific, well-defined use cases that AI can actually transform, business KPIs. So finding that combination of building the infrastructure as the Singaporean government has been doing, and then adding specific use cases like demand forecasting or revenue forecasting or customer experience or whatever that might be, would be the great kind of combination of both directions.
Well, then what challenges have you faced helping businesses move from curiosity to actual deployment or of predictive models?
So the number one challenge when it comes to using any kind of AI predictive model is actually dealing with your historical data. All businesses have historical data, but every business has their own historical data. And figuring out what is the best way to take that historical data and ask the right questions, both from a technical and a business perspective, given that data, has been the biggest challenge or obstacle that kind of prevent smaller and mid-sized businesses from also harnessing AI. And that's much of the technology we've developed that automates and kind of uses AI in itself to do all of that tedious and complex technical work.
Right. Well, your chairman, Trevor Healy, is known for scaling companies to billion-dollar exits. So, Dr. Bronfman, what lessons from his experience are you bringing into Pecan's growth journey, and how are you thinking about expansion into Southeast Asia?
Yes, so first of all, Trevor indeed gave us a great insight that we should never quit pushing hard when we see that there's such a good fit for what we are doing in the market. He brought with him so much motivation and so much encouragement that it's been transformational for me and for the entire company. So I think the greatest insight is just push hard all the time, because when things click, it becomes just an amazing ride. And for us as a startup, it has been luckily the case. More specifically, one of the insights Trevor shared with me is that the South Asian region is also extremely relevant for us as a startup. Traditionally, we are a startup that is based out of Israel. We traditionally sell mostly to North America. That's how usually startups work here from Israel. But Trevor opened up basically Singapore as a gateway to Asia. And it has been very interesting. I was just in Singapore a couple of weeks ago for the first time. Absolutely loved it. And so much opportunity. By the way, just because of the investment the government is making and the approach of kind of adopting and adapting to new technologies. So we are definitely putting Southeast Asia as part of our strategic roadmap.
Well, like you said, Singapore is betting big on cloud and AI adoption. So, Dr. Bronfman, what advice would you give to local companies trying to evaluate the right kind of AI investment for their stage and sector?
I would say the number one biggest advice is start with the business problem, not with the technology. What I mean by that is that there's so many different AI capabilities out there. It's like being in a candy shop. It all looks so amazing and so complex, which is true. But every business has their own landscape. Every business has their own needs. Identify first and foremost the problems that you care about the most, and then work your way back from that into asking yourself whether and how AI can help by leveraging the data, by automating, by making predictions, by optimizing existing processes. And also the other advice I have to also add that one, don't try to boil the ocean. Experimenting with AI, adopting AI is always a journey. And if it's your first attempt in adopting AI, don't try and do something huge. Take one well-defined, as we said, business problem, focus on that. And once you see great results and you understand how AI operates within your business, you can always expand.
Some great advice there. Well, then what are some global trends you're seeing in AI adoption that business leaders here in Asia should be paying attention to now before, they fall behind?
I'd say one of the biggest trends at the moment is for sure governance and security. You have to be very cautious in the tools you're working with, their internal security protocols, how the data is being processed, how it's being dealt with. All of that has been now becoming just huge consideration. The other thing is, like I mentioned, a lot of automation. You see great tools for workflows with agents and all of that. And the last but not least, there's a huge renaissance when it comes to working with the business's proprietary data, right? So if governance is in place and if you have automation of workflows, then you can use AI not just as a generic model out there. You can use AI that is tailored to your business proprietary data. And with that, you can find nuances that no generic model can ever find.
Right. And before we let you go here, Dr. Bronfman, what's your vision for Pecan AI over the next few years? Are there any future plans in the pipelines?
So, for us, the story is quite simple. We want to serve every company out there that doesn't have enough AI specialists and still wants to harness AI. For us, the market is almost infinite. We are building the technology as if it's, quote unquote, an AI specialist in a box. So what we are currently doing and what we'll continue to do is, on the one hand, the technology deeper and deeper, smarter and smarter, so that eventually you can just ask it to optimize some of your business processes and it will do everything end to end on its own. In parallel, as I mentioned earlier, we are trying to expand to new geographies, realizing that while North America is obviously the biggest market out there, there are massive opportunities in Southeast Asia and others.
Amazing. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Dr. Bronfman. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was Dr. Zohar Bronfman, who's a CEO and co-founder of Pecan AI. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.